Raúl, Mapoeca, bienvenido, welcome. Just coming in. What time is it? It's 9:25, and let me get to the chat. Raúl, Mapoeca. Just bring this down. Yeah. Gonna address a few things also. Yeah, so everybody know what we're dealing with here. Okay. Let me see. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh Lord, what do we do here? Ay. Messed up, yo. What did I do? There we go. Yeah, you can still hear me. It's wonderful. Okay. Patak Yud, the affirmation. Let me bring down this music. Get rid of that. Bring this up. Navigating to this myself here. Yes. So let's get with it. The affirmation, Patak Yud. Anukai Jawif Pa Ashuk Impa Paut. Wukale Ashuk Kabun Jawif Niya. Anukai Kwasaum Impa Paut. Wupa Paut Kabun Kwasaum Niya. Anukai Wahu Ame Pa Paut. Wupa Paut Kabun Wahu Ame Niya. Nukukador Naju Ame Kwasaum Impa Paut. Wuhabub Ame Mushras Nukukador Kawan Kalif Pafif Nakuk Da Yurja Wif Papa Ut Ame Wasa Ame Dayarni Kawun Lake Bakoy Jawif Papa Ut Anukai Jabit Baina Fashni Papa Ut Kawun Anukai Papa Ut Wadur Nukukadur Papa Ut Amul Nukuk Amul. And so I'm not going to go over the other chants, but I just wanted to say this, that people talk about the Kemetics and this and that in the Nile Valley. In our chants, we honor the Agdal, the Inats, and the overseers, what we call the Kemetic people would say Natiru. We in Mississippi in the Wapi say Nataru. Okay. And Nataru, it's our tonality. It is what it is. So the overseer, the Natharu, our overseers. You have the Ogdods, the Muftaru, Yaye Natharu, those Yaye Muftaru, Yaye Natharu, which is the Ogdogs or the overseers. You see, we have a language. Again, we can experience things in today's day and time. You know, in today's day and time, we experience through experimentation, through experience, develop the language by using our ancient language and language is spoken throughout the Nile Valley, and we tie it in together. You know what I'm saying? Come on, we're living. This is the renewing, the resetting, the renewing of our cultivating this condition. Earth changes, condition changes, solar system changes. And we're going to go into that about time. And Thahuti represents what we call time. And what is time? We're going to go in on that. So yes, we do have reverence for, again, the ancestral genetic codes that are in us that are found throughout the Nile Valley. So we say, Yaye Muftaru, Yaye Natharu. You know what I'm saying? And again, for those of you who you don't subscribe to this and whatever, but I mean, you can't knock people. You know what I'm saying? You cannot, you have to honor, you have to stand to reason that there are people that do study this and have a cultural expression. A lot of times, and it's okay. We get caught up in the necromancy. You know what I'm saying? We try to go back into these what they call necropolis areas. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. I mean, they're doing a lot of unearthing over there in Giza and that part of the Nile Valley. But if you even go to Sudan, there's some areas that became necropolis also. Necro, that cemetery. And there's a lot of, on digging, and you can find out a lot about your ancestors in terms of anthropology, archaeology, anthropology, and that's so cool. That's applied sciences. That's so cool. But time changes. You know what I'm saying? That's constant in the multiverse. This is change, and we're going to speak about that time and the continuation of that. We're going to go into that. That's what this is going to be about. Because again, the idea of this Halaq Áazeb Qabat, this throat energy center, is about echoing. You know what I'm saying? So things that we see, things that we hear, and even things that we think, and we have intuitive thinking, we echo that. And that's how we're able to speak our truth or we're able to speak lies. So we have to make that balance. All in all, it's about resonance and that echoing voice. You know what I'm saying? And so hoping that this will help put this in order. And a way of doing that is that when you receive these frequencies, remember they're caught up in a vacuum and you're receiving them. Like sometimes you have to put it in order. Sometimes it can be chaotic. It's coming from a chaotic state, which is not to say that's a bad thing. It's just that's caught up in a vacuum until you squeeze it out of that vacuum, right? And you give that formless some form, And so when you're able to do that, you have to do it with an amount of affinity, right? An amount of reasoning power. And a lot of times reasoning deals with experiences, wisdom, experiences, and experimentation. You know what I'm saying? This is a teaching. This is how we were taught. I love the fact that, they ask a man, oh, you're Israelite. Oh, you want to be an Israelite? Okay, well, I'm going to put you in the situation of what it is to be an Israelite. And that whole paradigm, those habits and those feelings of what it is to be an Israelite. So I'm going to take you upstate. I'm going to put you in what we call Shabbat, in these tents at a certain time. And I'm going to give you the language. I'm going to give you some of the oral traditions. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a rabbinical priesthood. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? So that you can experience it, experiment at the same time, and reason it out. You know what I'm saying? That's, again, establishing a condition. So when you have a condition, which is nature, is a condition, and you cultivate that condition, that creates culture, cultivating a nature, a condition. And that's the power that we have, And so, give me 1 second. Navigating my screen here. So when you look at the Halaq Áazeb Qabat, when I say halaq, I mean throat, the throat area, which is the resonating area, is represented by the deity, if you will, but the concept, the deity of Tahuti, what's called, some call him Thoth, some call him Hermes, Triglycerides, the 3-time, right? So call him Tahuti. It was known by many names. And even if you go into biblical accounts, he was known as Melchizedek, the green one, Al-Khidra, the green one, because when you look at Tahuti in the ancient Kemet Nile Valley, he was depicted with a green huge around him. And when you ascended, right, like Asar, he was giving a green hue about him. You know what I'm saying? All of this plays into that. You know what I'm saying? We'll speak about that later on, about the patina and the fact of the green color, you know, that hue that he was given. But yet, in what we call this metaphysical science, when it comes to the energy centers and the colors that correspond to the tones and the color that correspond to the particular energy center, it will be blue, very close to green. Green is the heart, and then you have the blue, and then you got indigo and violet, right? But you get the blue, and the blue is the fastest color that we see from the sky. It's the fastest vibrational color that hits us first, the blue. You know what I'm saying? It's used for communication too. It's used through the internet, the blue light, the internet, because it deals with communication. It deals with fractals. It deals with again, time. Okay. So let me bring this up. So when we look at time, you know, and I'm going to read to you from the nature, because this is all collectively knowledge that you have to pull from different sources. There are actual facts and master secrets and actual facts that do address this for Huti, you know, and I will find it for you on later on in the podcast, because this is going to be a very long one. We're going to speak about this because, you know, so much in the community, especially in the conscious community with amongst the Kemetic people, they speak a lot about this, but yet they're not really going into the core of it. We want to go into the core. We want to really squeeze out the amount of information. We're going to go out of the box and pull into this box and pull into the center knowledge so that we can put our mind in order. You have to get your mind in order. So when we speak about, so I want you to listen to the reason. Listen. And when we speak about time, by definition, it's the continuity of the existence of space and time. Space and matter. Again, the continuity of the existence and subsistence, for matter existence, for space subsisting, space and matter. But we haven't defined space and matter yet, but we're going to go over that. But we're just going to deal with the time, because time is the third member of the existence, what they call the triad of nature. Nature, a lot of times, the number 3 is very important in nature, because the number 3 deals with triad. Number 3 deals also with music. You got melody, right? You got melody, harmony, and rhythm, right? You have space, matter, and time, you know, and even in gas, you have liquid, solid, and what is it? Liquid, solid, and what is it? Liquid, solid, and gases, right? You have this triad existence in sometimes in nature. So in the nature science, the first member is space, the second member is matter, the third member is time. So space is represented by patah or ta or patah. A lot of people say patah or ta or ta. There's many ways of pronouncing it, right? I say ta because I'm using the P and the T. The tongue is on the top of the palate, but I'm still using a bilingual P, pushing it out. So ta, right? And right? So represented by ta, which is the opener, right? And the Ifa will be considered to be elegua, opens up the path. The path. That's the space, it's the container in that opening. And matter is representative of atum reye. Atum reye. Matter or ra. Matter. So you got space, ta, atum, and the third of the triad is who we call time. And if anybody know anything about the Ashutat, which was the Kemetic, the Nile Valley principles that we were taught of how to revered, like they say, have certain, like they have salat in Islam, they have certain prayer rituals in the Catholic. Well, amongst the Kemetic, we adopted a system, and remember, you stand and you address, the end, the beginning, the middle, and the end. You know what I'm saying? And those are the triad. So you're just ta, atum, and the third being Thahuti, like throne, Thahuti, right? And this Thahuti was a member of what they call the triad. Now, what they say was Thahuti a person? There existed a being by the name of Tahuti. And if you look at some of the oral traditions and some of the papyri and on the wall, Tahuti was symbolic of what they call the ibis bird, which also grows in South Africa. And not in South Africa, in South America. You know what I'm saying? Or this ibis bird, right? With the long beak, right? Representative of that. Because remember, South America and Africa, that those continents was once joined. And then there was a certain area what they call the Green Sahara. There's a certain area. There was certain civilization that existed in that area. The Greeks call it Atlantis. Others call it Utla, from the Mesoamerican, Utla, right? And so this area, they're saying that Tahuti came from this area of a civilization that fell. And he brought all that knowledge with him to the area of the Nile Valley. This is, and I'm just giving you an oral tradition. I'm giving you another story. I'm not telling you that it's true. I'm not telling you anything. I'm saying it adds up when you really look into the archaeology and oceanography, geography and stuff like that. It adds up. And archaeology, anthropology, when you look into the Green Sahara, you're seeing that there existed what they call aqueducts and stuff like that. So this was known as an area that extended all the way, but it split up. Water receded in there, and it became what you see in the Caribbean, and they find pyramids underneath the water in the Atlantic Ocean. And you got the Bermuda Triangle, which is also a pyramid underneath there. If you look at triangle is a pyramid. You know what I'm saying? Pyramid is a triangle, right? So, I mean, when you put the pieces together, so this story comes from that, of a being that came from a very advanced scientific civilization that had writing. And he was able to bring this into what you call the hunter-gatherers, or the Ma Confederation. You know what I'm saying? He was known, and then throughout the Nile Valley. And he using the reed and using the papyrus made out of those reeds, and so he had a knowledge of ink, that he had certain chemical knowledge and things like that he brought with him. That's one of the stories. But Tahuti is also known for, recording. And when you record something, one thing that comes into recording is that you are putting it into time signature. Time. Again, that's why he's a representative of what they call time, the continuation of extracting matter from the space, taking the formless and giving it form. You know what I'm saying? That's Tahuti in time. So as expressed in the principle in natural law, in the topic entitled, let's say, the laws of and the nature by reason, the law of is the nature of it and the purpose of. So the law that governs this deity, governs this character, it's the nature and the purpose. And the purpose of the existence of time. What is the purpose of existing of time? Is to be, for one, the third member of the triad of existence. He holds that place. To be the duration and the measurer of all. To be the continuity of all that exists, and that is to exist. To be the ager of all. to be the everlasting preserver and the prime keeper of space and matter, and be the eternity of nature. So the law of time reads like this. It has a law, purpose. The law, the character that the Huti is governed by, like his character, personality, is that he's infinite in all directions, eternal and absolute. The third member of the existence of the triad of nature holds a position with Ptah and Atum. Call the time, provide continuity for nature, duration, measurement for nature, measurements, right? Ager for nature, aging in time, is the endless preserver, the prime keeper of nature and of nature, forever the same way each time the conditions are the same. Time. That's the principle of Thuhuti. And so does in unity with the eternal space and the eternal matter. It's in unity with Ptah, it's in unity with Atum. Yeah. In accord with natural nature. Let us always remember that. Let it be known. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very important. Time is as perfect as those it provides continuity of existence for, space and matter. Since time is the continuation of both. Basically, as continuity of space, time is constant. It is constant. It appears to be changing, right? But it's constant. But a continuity of matter, time, is constant, variant, and changeable. It's variant and it's changeable. So in ancient times, the scientists in the Nile Valley philosophically identify all space and matter and time with the sun, the earth, and the moon of our solar system. That's the reason why they say Tahuti is considered to be like the moon. And the moon, also Tahuti, was, and again, a provider, knew the art of deception. So we're going to speak about that at another podcast. We're going to impact that and bring it up more. So you got the sun, right? Earth. So you got the sun, Ptah, right? Earth, Ra. You got the moon, Tahuti, on our solar system. That's how it's personified. As Ptah, Atum, and Tahuti, respectively, meaning in the order given. Time is in the eternal. That is, it never had beginning and it can never end. That's the reason why they said Tahuti, they can't find a beginning for Tahuti or an end. It's eternal. You know what I'm saying? Eternal. That principle. That's like Melchizedek. Had no mother, no father, Alpha and Omega. Had no beginning, no ending. Here's the beginning and here's the ending. And no records. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the power. That is the personality characteristic of Tahuti. That is, it never had beginning. It never end. Because space and matter never had beginning and likewise can never end. Infinity, together with Almighty, together with eternity. So space is infinity, matter is Almighty, and time is eternity. Okay? When we, okay, I hope I'm not going too far. It's fetch here, and you're grasping what I'm saying. So I'm reading from the nature of nature, okay? And later on I'll read from some actual facts and some stuff, because a lot of actual facts and the master secrets and stuff like that is taken from a nature, from a natural science that was taught in the Nile Valley. So these are principles that I'm giving you an introduction. Later on, I will do classes on this on the Patreon. But these are introductions into understanding the character, the personality of Tahuti. A lot of people speak about Tahuti, this, Tahuti, that, the what they call the emerald tablets and this and that, and our sacred teaching, the sacred wisdom of Tahuti. When you read that, powerful. and those 9 principles. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he is a recorder. He's a timekeeper. He is the recorder. He has the master key. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. That's just taught in the Nile Valley. You know. So when we speak separately of space, matter, and time as being absolute, of course, we mean it's unlimited, absolute with each other. Interactions of space, matter, and time read like this. As we personify in words and meaning, that the existence triad of nature. Like according to wedding vows, when a man and woman become husband and wife, they also become one flesh, right? By extension, one blood also when they have children. The principles of the one supreme being, that means that being, that being that sits supreme, are very similar, but more binding and majestic in the application. Infinite absolute vacuum. That means infinite absolute vacuum is space. It's the male person of the existence triad of nature. The infinite absolute matter is the female. And this noble couple is the eternal marriage embrace in life and death that enables both spouses to experience the creation and manifestation of all. The other opposite in nature, and the experience activity of all beings throughout infinite nature, right? The husband, which is the magnetic vacuum, germinates the wife, the magic matter, by supplying space and also blackness needed in the germinating process. There's needed warmness, wetness, darkness, suitable matter, and also time, space, and the law of nature. So the union of this royal couple, like the father vacuum and the mother matter, produces countless offerings, offsprings like universal orbs that becomes male or female, masculine and feminine orbs, spirit beings, vegetation, flesh and blood beings. You know what I'm saying? The union of this. You know what I'm saying? So the wedding vow, what binds matter, what binds space and matter, the male principle and the female, is time, right? Even in germination, even there's time, what they call trimesterites, when the fetus is born, there's time. Time is the wedding vow. Time is the keeper. So that's the principle of Tahuti. When you go into it deep and deep, and we can go into this deep. That's the concept. That's the master key. That's the embodiment of what Tahuti represents. At the same time, it's the knowledge that was brought into the Nile Valley by, if you want to put it like that, by this super advanced scientist. Super advanced scientist is known as Tahuti, if you want to put it like that. You know? And we're going to speak about the Per Imheru, you know, the possession of Osiris, and how Tahuti is present there, and how Tahuti embodied himself and took the personage of Usir or Sar. Every sovereign king or queen, every sovereign or any person that's willing to ascend and to become this ascend into this etheric body has to recognize this point of resonance, the Huti, the principles, and this point of resonance and echo. Echo is time also. If anybody knows anything about acoustical engineering, echo, time. You could contract the time and give you a shorter echo, or you can extend it, give you a longer reverbal echo. You know what I'm saying? This is getting into applied science. So this is what's been taught in the Nile Valley. You know, this is something that you're not going to hear. This is something that you're not going to hear from somebody, I'm sorry to say, like Jabari, all these committees. Now, Infidishi is different. He might point out a lot of these things. Very intelligent, Infidishi. He might point out a lot of this stuff. And also Professor Small. But Jabari, I have not seen him go deep into something like this. They won't. They won't. You know? And this is now Valley Science. And that's all that I want to touch upon here. So the laws of nature are the marriage vows, right? Of this majestic mother and father, or the eternal absolute time. And well, the marriage vows of this majestic mother and father and mother, and the eternal absolute time is the royal preserver. The royal preserver. That's why in order for you to ascend to white and hold the white crown and to ascend into that ascension, masaha, white the way and ascend, become a royal preserver, keeper, and everlasting continuity. Royal eternity is this loving, noble couple and eternal embrace. Again, space, matter, and time are most eternal. Never having a beginning and never having an end. Even if they wanted to, it won't happen. Because in time, remember, the royal preserver, keeper, is constant. It's variant. It's eternal. That's that concept. Everlasting continuity. That's the royal eternity. Royal. It's loyal to its law and its continuous law. And this is principles, characters, and principles that has to be acknowledged when understanding of your ascension and dealing with it, with how you resonate also. This is part of when you put this in order, put this in your mental mind, and you put this in order, it helps you resonate more. Because when you start thinking about it and you start learning these laws, the origins, laws, these principles and laws of natural nature, it starts putting your mind into natural nature order, right? And so you start resonating, you start echoing, you start speaking, finding the truth. Those pieces fit perfectly together. And then you start distinguishing with that which does not fit. And you start seeing that as a falsehood. And that's what I'm saying. I listen to how people resonate, and I'm like, wow, there's something off. There's something off here. There's some clever people. There's some people that intuitively, they get it. They're able to resonate it intuitively. But here, we're now taking it and we're inspecting it. We're putting light on it. We're putting consciousness, awareness to this area of natural nature, the mind of natural nature. In this pool, mind, right? And we're now lighting that up. We're lighting that up so we can see it for what it is. Okay. And that's all I wanted to really go over here. And let me say that this is an introduction. You know what I'm saying? So there's much more we can go into so we can learn how to resonate and echo, this power that we have. Let me bring up something. Excuse me 1 second. I see no comments yet. I see Randy Wilson, what's going on? Stephen Tony Adams, what's going on? I'm glad that you guys are listening. Again, this is just a prerequisite, and we're going to go in more deep. And like I said, I'm going to try to think out the box. I'm definitely going to think out the box and bring some information and impact and just expand. It's about Papa Oat, right? Expanding what we already know and expanding. So again, we don't become deceived. We're able to see the forces. We're able to see this and from a philosophical, from an actual applied science. We're able to see this. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people out there that are pushing, again, speculative knowledge and charging an astronomical amount of money for you to become something that it takes time. First, you have to get your mind in order. You have to know certain things. You have to know certain things in order to get on that path. You know what I'm saying? You have to know certain things in order to get on that path of ascension, what we call the path of ascension, the path of Asar, Usir. You know, when Panabayanan did the whole possession of Asar, there's a lot of preparation that went into that. There's a lot of things that he had to complete in his life journey. That was the marking of that. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna break down. I'm gonna break down that Pert and Haru, what they call that possession that you see on the papyri. We'll break that down because I see a lot of people speculative and trying to break it down and just wow. I mean, I look at it and say, there's so much you're not hitting home. It's just like you're regurgitating some. I don't know. You're making shit up. you're making it up as you go. You know what I'm saying? And before you should speak, you got to put your mind in order because it's not it's gonna come out all chaotic. You know what I'm saying? You have to put you have to be so attentive. You have to pay very much attention to the laws of natural nature. That's the core of it. You know, and in natural nature, you see this law come to play in the womb of the mother. Time, you see space, matter, time. This is, again, Qabat, the center. This is something that you cannot alter. It's forever moving. You know, we all come from the waters of the wombs of our mother. That's a fact. And when you start studying the womb of the mother and you start studying, then you see the womb of the solar system. You see how life, natural nature, how it works. What's going on, Papa? You start seeing how these laws work when you, again, through experiences, you know, examination, experiences. I call it the X factor. You know what I'm saying? And you start seeing how the womb, the triple darkness, and the matter, and you know, and how time. These are principles that is found through all of natural nature. You just have to pay attention to it. You just have to put the pieces together, even to the solar system. And then you see, I'll come in the Nile Valley. You know, they, you know, a lot of African oral tradition, even in Europe and everywhere you go, China. This has been a tradition. This has been spoken about. You know, this is how they put their mind in order. This is how we have to put our mind in order by being very, very conscientious. For one, conscious, aware, and conscientious, and seeing, examining, and seeing by knowing. Seeing is knowing, and seeing how nature works by the very small things around us. Not small, I'm sorry, by the very beautiful miracle of you are a miracle. You were in triple dot in the womb of your mother. That's how important you were. In the womb of your mother. And you went through this process, what they call space, matter, and then time was a continuation, a preserver that preserved you. The time and the constant. When you look at it like that, and you start, you know, going into that, and you get to see, then you're able to go, yes, into those records on the walls of Nile Valley, and you can say Kemet or Sabah, wherever you go, and you see it, you know, and you're able to now see it for what it is. That our ancient ancestors were very observant. There was signs, not all of them, but the ones that preserved and the ones that you find in the institutions throughout the Nile Valley, right? We're very observant of natural nature. Once you understand the laws and the origins and the laws and knowing what natural nature is, then you're able to now read it for yourself. Okay? You're now able to extract more knowledge, and you're able to acknowledge it and be very grateful and gracious of it. And that's where reverence comes in. You're gracious. You're grateful for it because you now understand natural nature. What was it I was going to pull up? I'm sorry. Let me just pull up one not small thing, but I want to pull up something here. And what I want to do is just close it out with it. I'm looking for it. Give me a second. I got so many files here, and just trying to find the right file for it. I don't think it's in this file. No, it's going to be on my notes file. I'm looking for my notes. Where are my notes? Notes. Paper PDF. Blah, 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 blah. Where are my notes? Where are my notes, man? Yeah, my notes folder's right here. Got it? And I want to close it out with this. And here, I got it right here. Okay. And what I wanted to say is, so we're at the throat energy center. It's being, again, the color blue, for all, for just clarification, for just bringing it up to that sign. So the throat, so in this center here, what we call the throat energy, the Halaq Qabat center, is where expression is at, right? This is how you express yourself. This is expression. We already said, we already established that this is the Thuhuti is represented, the deity represents here because it deals with resonance. It deals with the Lord of time, the scribe of the gods, of the scribes of the Nataru or Natharu. Here you are learning. Here where there's magic. Remember, it's the preserver. Magic, speech, writing, and measurement. When you deal with measurement, you're dealing with dimension. When you deal, and we're going to, later on, we're going to go into this. We're going to talk about dimensions because it deals with Thuhuti and dimensions. And what are dimensions? Dimensions are measurements. You know what I'm saying? And then you got resonance, communication. In order for you to have good communication, again, here you have to establish affinity and a reality. And that's what we're doing here, okay? So the stone that's representative of this, which is one of my favorite stones, I think it's my birthstone, is turquoise. And the scent of frankincense, I always love the scent of frankincense. If you notice that in some churches, they burn frankincense and myrrh, but frankincense, because it's again, deals with this particular energy of resonating, energy of communication, So here you're speaking your truth. You're going to make healthy choices because now when you get into this and you understand the preserving of space and matter, you want to preserve it, it's going to help you make healthy choices in your life. Accepting your consequences and trusting in the greater good. When you have good communication, it's about having good communication. And I just want to quickly say that, you see, when you have reality is not established and affinity, the communication goes bad. And that's an experience that I just been through. And some of y'all that's on here know, and I'll mention it. I don't care. With the person who was Sarnetta. The communication went bad. Why? Because, first of all, the affinity, the likeness was not there because the reality was not established. You see, he accused me of doing something which, if you can clearly evidence and clearly see that I did not speak about him. I did not bang on him, speak, clap, whatever you want to say, at him at all. At all. He has no right. I don't have no contract. I can go on any podcast that I want to go on. You know what I'm saying? As long as right. And I didn't mention his name at all. But he accused me of that. So that's a falsehood. You see? It doesn't add up because once you see the video, you're going to see, oh, wait a minute. CeeLo never said anything about you. It wasn't even about you. Where is this coming from? You see, the affinity wasn't there from the get-go. It's like, I rock with this brother because you have a problem with that brother. Now you got a problem with me. Right? But you're not being fair. You're not being unbiased, subjective in any way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first. So that's where communication comes in. So when you echo bad choices, you make bad choices, and you echo this, it becomes, for you, it's going to be a problem, because I'm going to always resonate and echo in truth and speak my truth, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And you would never, and I'm speaking to Sarnetta, would never give me the time to come on and set the record straight. Because if you don't set the record straight, then you got something to hide. Something to hide. If you don't want to face a person that you accuse them of something, you got something to hide. Something is hiding. Something is hiding. Something is being exposed. And I know what it is. All it deals with the dinero. You know what I'm saying? It always deals with that. So just want you keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I don't care. It's no loss for me at all. At all. I got other things I'm doing. Like I said, with music, it deals also with this particular energy center. Music, it deals, I got other things that I need to do. You know what I'm saying? I met some wonderful people on there, and I hope that they continue to be, to engage me in any way and continue, because that's, I have done nothing. Don't let no other man, the third party, right, create any conflict between you. I had no conflict. I would not let JJ or Contra, anybody, create a conflict between me and Sarnetta. Sarnetta did that on his own. He allowed a third party that called him and told him something that was false. So he has to own up to that. My brother, you have to own up to that. You are wrong. And you know what? In the laws of nature, when you commit an act like that, either you have to pay the penalty and the punishment, or not. Someone close to you is going to pay the penalty. Nature's going to balance itself. The truth is the truth. Sawab, kamun sawab. It is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And you got to stand on those principles. And if you're a person that's not standing on those principles, then you're faulty. You're going to be exposed. It's not me. It's the nature. It's the laws of nature. It's not me. It's the laws of nature that's going to expose you. I'm speaking my truth. I'm communicating. I have nothing but affinity for all my brothers and sisters. But again, we have to establish a reality in order for that affinity to grow. We got to establish a reality, right? The reality is that there are certain things that are said, certain things that are done that are not right, or they're not genuine. That's pseudo, ungenuine, faulty. There's certain things that are not right, and you have to be a man of integrity and honesty. You know what I'm saying? And you see that you can resonate that, and it gives you more power. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, power to you all. You know what I'm saying? I just want to put this in the background. Yeah, power to you all. And again, we're going to continue on. I just wanted to go a little bit into that, because it also deals with resonating, speaking your truth, communication. And this is the prime example of how communication can go wrong. Communication can go wrong, And look, Sarnetta on his podcast, my wrench was taken away. I don't care about any of that stuff, to be honest with you. I didn't even use it that much. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And I'll listen to some of the podcasts, but it's just the same. I'm just tired of that bull crap. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm gonna address certain things, man, because you know what I'm saying, the power of the internet, what they call the court of public opinion. The internet is a place where you have the court of public opinion. This can be spread out there, and what they call public relations. Public relations is not good at all. It's not good. You know, you have like politics. A politician will amplify crime and stuff like that because he will tell you he has a solution for it. But once he gets into office, he does nothing about it. Okay, police, the law enforcement, they a lot of times in law enforcement, and you've seen it throughout the city of New York City and big cities, is they perpetuate it, they amplify it. Crime. They wanted crime to exceed because again, they could come in. It's their job. It's their livelihood. You know what I'm saying? It's their livelihood. Same thing with the news. The news is what they say. Bad news is good news. I want all the, it's like you say, I want all the goodies here. I want all the bad news. I want all the goodies. And that's what you see a lot with a lot of these podcasts. And I'm very careful of that too. You know what I'm saying? I'm very careful. A shout out to my brother, Tahuti Brown, because his podcast is about information, stuff like that. Even though some of that information, I'm looking at it like, it could be tweaked. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm a person, like I said, you know what you know, but I'm the type of person that I seek to know that which I don't know. So I go on that quest. You know what I'm saying? That's important. He's very sharp. He was one of the triads. And I'm sure that he was trained to be very sharp in what he does in terms of research. Because the triads spend a lot of time in research. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days. You know what I'm saying? On the Wapian triads. So, I appreciate that, that it's not about, going back and forth. Now, the Lions Den, what I could say is, there's bad blood. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things were done and said. You know what I'm saying? And coming from both ends, from the Sanera and from Lions Den, there's bad things that were said. Bad things back and forth. I'm not caught up in any of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm there to set the record straight in terms of what I was engaged in and set the record straight. And I'm not, I'm not gonna put myself in there. You know what I'm saying? I love my brother Hansu, Yamere, and what he, and he has his mission. He does what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm not gonna let anybody bring me into a certain situation. And I don't think he brought me to any of this situation if I didn't want to go into it. You know what I'm saying? I went already with the situation like, hey, let's set the record straight because there's something not unhonorable done here. I'm listening to a podcast and suddenly he does it again. Whenever there's a crime committed by a so-called ex-student or person that read the books and revered Dr. York, immediately when they do a crime, they blame it on Dr. York. Now he's a baby Dr. York and this. That's wrong. That is freaking wrong. And then when you go into the case, it's just wrong. That's negative. That's public relations. That's character assassination. You're perpetuating that. You're doing exactly what certain organizations that have a profitable or an interest in keeping you down is what they want you to do. So you just playing along with it. The specters, these ideas and concepts walked into your mind. Someone threw caca on the fan and got over many people in the conscious community. Right there on 125th Street. You know what I'm saying? Someone threw shit in the fan and it got over all of them. And now, forget it. They stink because they have this narrative. You know what I'm saying? And then they expect you bang on a master teacher. They expect that the students are going to say anything. And then when they bang back, you get mad at that. You get mad. This is the reason why, Jabari is supposed to be known as a priest, and you should know better. This is a master teacher. He has many students and followers, much more students and followers than you have. And he's incarcerated. He still has students. And he's still many coming to the folds of the Wapu and Sabi Wu Sabat. Many are still coming in and reading the books. And here you are, you're going to try to say, you're going to try to discredit that? No. And I like what Fidishi is doing with his library, but you know something? The Wapians did that. We've done that, and we have parar. We even named it Parar. An ancient metaneta. Parar. Right? And throughout many different cities where you see artifacts and you see pictures of Asar and Aset, and you see ancient Nile Valley, and you see our master teacher there, and you see artifacts and books throughout many cities. There's a big temple in Bushwick. You walk in there, it's like walking into a museum. They used to make those artifacts. I bet you some of those artifacts that you have there at that museum, that's another show today, there, I bet you some of those artifacts were made by Nuwaubians' hands. And Taki from Happy was a Nuwaubian. Yes. And he doesn't talk detrimental about Dr. Yaw. He knew that was from his teachers. He came from that school of Ansar. You know what I'm saying? So, recognize, man. You know? I never hear Fidishi speaking so good. I know that's the smallest. I love him. Stay out of it. Don't get into that. Don't get into any of that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to recognize greatness. You got to recognize what a person does. Even Hitler himself have done what stuff. You know, Hitler had the cojones to go against the Qabat. Well, a lot of people out here that don't have the guts to do that. He did it. He went against the international banks and stuff like that. That's the reason why they had to stop him. So they claim. But he became the whole Fourth Reich and NASA and in Brazil. That's another different conversation. But even you got to acknowledge that. There are many people that follow that. Why would I want to mess around no. Because what he did to the Jews was heinous. It was an atrocity. Let the Jews deal with that. But still, even the Jews will acknowledge that this was a brilliant man to some extent. Because sometimes brilliancy also comes with insanity. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard that before? You know? So there's a fine line. So it just goes into that. So you have to really, really be careful in this day and time. Again, how you resonate, communication, how you resonate, establish that reality. Don't be afraid to establish that reality first. Don't be afraid to hear your brother out, establish that reality. You know what I'm saying? If the person does not want to set the record straight, they are hiding something. Let me tell you. They're hiding something. If they're not setting the record straight, they are hiding something. They don't want the book straightened out. They want it crooked. They're hiding something. And that's what's going on. Anyway, all the blessings to you all. And I'll try to come on here when I'm able to come on. And further this, we already know we're at this center, the Halaq or the Tahuti Áazeb Energy Center. Okay? Peace and blessings.